We talk a lot about Maine's lobster industry and how important it is, but we rarely talk about our second biggest commercial fishery, clamming.
That fishery has a story to tell, of course, and now a retired clammer has decided to write a book about it. 207's Don Kerrigan is here with that story. Hey, Don.
Hi, guys. Clams. I have to admit that when I was in high school, I tried briefly digging clams. I might have lasted 30 minutes at the most. It is hard work, and also not all that glamorous, but there are a whole lot of people out there who are very happy to consume what the diggers dig up.
For those who love them, this may be the path to happiness. Soft-shell clams for steamers, for chowder, for fried clams.
I like raw clams.
You like raw clams?
Sure.
Jeez.
Why not?
Yeah.
They don't taste the same, but as far as I'm concerned, they're as tasty as an oyster.
Peter Hope knows his clams. He dug them for more than 50 years.
This is a clam hod. You don't buy them, you make them.
And now he's written what might be Maine's first book about the history and the work of clamming.
So I was a clam digger and a historian, and it wasn't natural. I don't think anyone could do it any better.
Pete and his book, Stuck in the Mud, are firmly rooted in this place, on the edge of the east branch of the Pemaquid River, really a long tidal cove, where he learned how to dig clams as a teenager.
Why clamming? Why is it worth a book?
Well, it has been for some time the number 2 fisheries in the state, not in terms of production, but in terms of value.
And still is. The harvest of soft-shell clams in Maine was valued at over $15 million in 2024, according to the Department of Marine Resources. But as Stuck in the Mud points out, clamming has also been part of a coastal culture and history most of us know little about.
Another market for clams was developed in the 19th century with the advent of canneries. They were built in Jonesport, Brooklyn, East Machias to begin with. And then
in other words, clams used to be big business along most of Maine's coast.
That's hard work.
Yeah. Strong back, weak mind.
Maybe not. Pete clammed his way through 4 years at Bowdoin College, and then while he was at grad school in Boston. Then he began a career as a high school history teacher and kept on clamming during the summers.
A lot of times I thought about quitting and digging clams year-round. I would have made a lot more money. The first years I was teaching, and that was partly because teaching paid so poorly, I was making more money in just the summer.
Pete says he retired after 31 years of teaching and went clamming full-time and still made more money than his best year in the classroom. Surprising, perhaps, because he says clammers and clamming haven't always had the best reputation, but the work can still earn a decent living.
I mean, I loved it. I loved it much more than teaching.
Why?
Freedom, being out in the water.
But as his book explains, it's getting harder. He says fewer people than ever are willing to do the work, and the Department of Marine Resources says the number of clamming licenses it issues has been dropping. And there aren't as many clams out there. Back in the mid-1960s, Maine's clam harvests were close to 18 million pounds a year. By 2024, it was down to less than a third of that. The prime cause, say scientists and clammers like Pete Hope, the invasion of the predatory green crab.
And this is a slop hole for digging soft mud or digging through old diggings.
His book includes talks with dozens of diggers who have watched the decline, but are still doing their best to hang on.
I asked everyone that I interviewed, how long do you expect to keep clamming? And the answer invariably was until I can't get up the bank anymore or until the day I die. It's just something about it. I mean, I loved it.
In a way, they are stuck in the mud, he says, by choice, and hoping for some young people to join them. Because if we want clams, we still need clam diggers.
Yes, we do. So Peter Hope's book is self-published. If you want to get a copy of it, there's a lot in there about the history of clamming and a lot from individuals. Why we're providing a link online where you can get that information and order one.
Thank you, Don.
You're welcome.